Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm Gamesplaining Altiplano. Altiplano is in essence a bag building game. So it happens over a number of phases. The first phase can happen all at the same time. The second phase can happen all at the same time. The third phase will need to go in turn order. And then the cleanup which is phase 4, can happen pretty much at the same time. So it runs fairly quickly. Let me start with where you're going to get points at the end of the game, because if you understand that, you have a much better chance at understanding what you're trying to do. This is the score sheet. Any of these 3 items that you have chits for that are either in your bag, on your board, or in your warehouse, and I will get to what each of those things are in a moment, will get you 1 point. Each of these chits will get you 2, those chits will get you 3, those will get you 4. The next 3 spots down, or 4 spots if you will, are talking about the cards. So cards from here will get you 2 points as marked on the card. Cards from here will get you bonus points for having certain types of chit, plus 4 points for the card itself. And cards from here are worth whatever points are on the bottom. They're different for each card, for each completed card. And I'll get onto those ones in a moment also. Other than that, we're looking at the warehouse. So you're trying to fill up your warehouse, and for each full line, you'll get whatever the points are next to it. So obviously it's better to get 4 things into this line. However, you can't do stuff in this line unless you've got stuff in every other line to start with. When you move things to the warehouse, and I'll get to when that happens in a second, you will always put it in the bottom left. Now you can add these corn chits next to something you already have. So if I have a chit in my bottom left, I can add a corn chit to fill up the space. I could then add either another one of these ones onto that spot or another corn one onto that spot. If, however, you don't have a spot for the corn to go, you're starting a new row with corn, the only thing that's able to go next to it is corn. You don't have to fill up one row before you start another, so you could have a board that looks like that. There's no problem with that at all. So trying to get up into this area is where you're going to get the most points from, because you can see there's obviously larger points on that right hand side. So that's where your points are. How do we get there? Through bag building. The start thing is that you will reach into your bag and take out chits and place them on the bottom row. Now, this number here tells you how many chits you can have. As you move further down that track, you'll be able to get more chits. Each time you move down, you'll get more chits, or you'll get a corn, depending on which one you've moved on to. There's a picture of the item next to that spot. As you move further down this, you'll notice when you get to here, you'll be able to get 5 chits out of the bag. Here, you'll get 6, 7, or 8. All those spots in between, you gain 1 corn to add straight into your warehouse as previously discussed. The only thing that's not allowed to go into the warehouse are these yellow ones, but they can be used for many things on your board. So what a turn looks like is, and you get to choose wherever you wish to start from, so it's not a problem on that. If I'm standing here, I can do an action that is in the llama space. So you're looking for that little black marking, there it is, there and there, on each of the spots to tell you where you are. So the llama spot lines up with this area of your own board. You're doing the actions on your own board, but you're moving around the main area. None of your movement will interrupt the movement of others. You can't stop people from going somewhere just because you're there. As many as they like can stand there. So once you've got your chits out of the bag, you can put anything onto the left-hand side, and these little arrows tell you what each thing does. And that will sit in that location until you use it. So what I've set up at that point is to be able to use the farm, because everything's in this space. I'm deciding to start there. I could decide to start somewhere else and then come over to the farm. That would also be fine. So when it comes to my turn, I will then go, okay, I will use this food to turn into 1 llama, and I take 1 llama. Notice everything's going into this container. Everything will continue going into that container until the turn when my bag is empty, or if I've just grabbed, say, 1 chit out of it and then the bag's empty, everything in the container goes back into the bag, and I continue pulling out the number of chits that I need, up to the number of chits that I need, should I say. Everyone else will have a turn, and then it comes back to me, and I am able to turn those two into one of these. I think that's tobacco. So once again, they'll go into there. Everyone else has a turn, it comes back to me. Now I have a choice of, I don't have anything else on my board that I can do, so I could just stay there and say I'm done, or because I have this one card, that allows me to move 1 to 3 spaces in any direction. So I may go, oh, well, I don't have any stuff, but there might be some stuff that I can purchase, so I might move over to here, 1, 2, 3 spots to there. Then I take my turn. And if we notice over on the money bags spot, I know it's not called that, I'm just using that name because that's the name I've always used for it, I can spend money. Anything that requires money that is on this board, you can just take the money out of your treasury. Any card that you have that extends the board, so we're about to get to those ones. Notice this card turns 2 money into one of those avocados. Any card like this that is next to my board, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, you need to actually put the money on that in order to use it. So because I'm up at the money bags area, I could spend 1 money to purchase one of these. Now I only have 1 money. If I had more money, I would probably be able to do more, because the way this works is this one has 2 money on it, so it's going to cost me 2 money. As I come up further, it's whatever the cost is on the top left plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So I actually don't have enough money to purchase any of these at the moment. If this one was on the bottom space, it would only cost me 1. So I can't do that at the moment. What I could do is purchase one of these cards, and that's always going to cost me 1 money. And whenever I'm getting into any of the 3 decks, I'm actually picking it up and having a look through to see what I'm able to do, see what is the most beneficial to me to do. Other things I can do at that spot, I can trade in chits for money, or I can move any chits that I have and I'd put them into these 2 spaces. So I had that card next to me, I could move chits from there onto that. Once that's full, those chits then go back into the cart, and I have those points at the end, plus I get 1 of these corn to add into my warehouse. So I've covered those 2, that one. We were talking about that earlier with the moving things down, so I need to have 1 of these as well as the wood. If I have both of them there and I move onto that space, I can trade both of them in and move my token down, which now means that I can take 5 chits out of my bag rather than just the 4. Over at the C space, if I turn in 2 of these wood planks, that enables me to take 1 of these cards. What that card does is gives me 1 more chit. So this is how I can gain chits that I need that are not readily available within the stuff that I have. So if I was the blue player, I would probably need to get this top one, which gives me 1 of the llamas, because I don't have a way of doing llamas. If I can't do llamas, I can't get any of this stuff in the top left corner of my board. The other one that I haven't dealt with yet is here, which is the warehouse space. If I wish to move anything into my warehouse, I put it here. And I can put 3 different things, or 3 of the same, or 2 of one and something of a different. That's absolutely fine. And that will move them into the warehouse. I could spend 1 money by going there to gain another cart, which goes here. In order to make that actually work, I would need to have 1 of these food sitting there, and that would enable me to move another 1 to 3 spaces. If I don't have that card, but I have food there, I can still move 1 extra space from where I am. So if I'm there and I go, oh, I've got that, I can then move to here, spending the chit to make that happen. The other thing I can do is spend 2 of these rocks to take 1 of those cards, and what that's going to do is give me points at the end of the game for the number of each chit on that card that I have. So this is for llamas. I get 1 extra point for every llama, and you'll be able to go through the deck. There's a card for each chit type, plus there's another 4 points for the card itself. That in essence is the game. All you need to then do once you've kind of done everything, you sit back, wait till everyone else has done stuff. We then go into that last phase, which is kind of the cleanup phase, if you will. And what you're doing here is, if no one has purchased one of the extra spaces down that left side, you take the bottom one out and remove it, move everything down one, flip over another one. This works as your game counter or score counter or timing counter, if you will. And what will happen is, as soon as there's no more in this pile able to fill up this, the game finishes. It also finishes if any of these boards have all of the items taken off it, which means all chits and all cards, or all chits, or all cards and all cards. And then we go to that scoring that I was talking about earlier. And that is the game. If you would like to see a bit of a playthrough to get a feel for how the game actually runs, then please go on and watch my next video. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.